Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Experiments in AI. So we're continuing on with our exploration of Ollama, and we're now going to take a look at customizing models with a model file. Now there's many ways you can customize a model, and model files is one way, and it's probably, for me at the very least, the easiest to show you. So I'm going to get on in a moment and we'll go through another notebook and show you how you can experiment with model files yourself. As I've explained in previous episodes, and I'll quickly go through this just as a recap, there's obviously some toolchain stuff you'll need. So you've got a whole load of choices with Python and Jupyter Notebook. You can just install a package which has everything that you need. You can independently install Python and then Jupyter Notebooks if you want to. You will need access to Ollama running locally. It might be a good idea to read a little bit about Ollama, but you don't have to. For this episode, to really understand it, at some point you do really need to read up about model files, but more once you see how this works and if you want to experiment it. Because what I'm doing here is a real quick and dirty way to do it, and I've real dialed back the parameters and just everything else pretty much, just to show you the basis so you can sort of understand how to create model files properly. In terms of, creating the file, and then it's up to you what you put in it. You will need access to the Ollama Python library, I think, for this. We'll find out in a moment. I forget episode to episode where I lean into it, but I think I'm leaning into it in most episodes. And then, I model. Now this one, so up till now, a lot of the episodes I've had and used a pull function. We're not going to use a pull function here because we want to use a specific model that, for convenience sake, and you can get away with it. I mean, you could customize this and put in the pull function if you wanted to, so it pulled it on the fly. But it's just a bit easier because I've got to work through this in stages where we're not waiting for the model to come down. So I've dispensed with that, and we just assume when I've got this particular model already downloaded and ready to go. Because what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be creating some, variants of the model in here. So you'll see how this works in a moment. So let's go through here. So we've got no pull function. What we've got is a list available models function this time around, which is pretty useful. So let's just run the Ollama library, because again, we're leaning into things like the list command. Now in a very late episode, I sort of dig a bit deeper under the bonnet and sort of show you, what the return structures look like for this. But for most of the episodes, we're sort of abstracting that away and letting, this do all the heavy lifting, and we're not even bothering to look at a lot of the internals. You can see here, conveniently, I'm sort of pulling out all the different parts that might come back from here, and we're going to use them in a moment once we run all of this. But there's a function to list the models and also pull out from the models the model, the size, the details in terms of the family, the parameter size in details, and the quantization level as well. We're going to format the bytes of return. So we've got this little internal function that just does that. So we can do that. And we're going to run this now. And we do want to grab this whole thing. But the way, again, this is done, we do have a side effect in the function, for good or bad. Like I said, this is designed as sort of experimental and testing code, not for use in production. So if you did want to use this in production, you probably want to change a few things out and do some wrapper functions and do some other internal helper functions maybe. But not only is it retrieving the model for later use, but we're also getting it to just print out that information for us. Because if we did want to change this base model the point is we now know what models are available to us. So that's why this is here. So we're doing a lot of this on the fly. Then we've got a query here, the actual function to do the particular chat we're after. Okay, so we're going to be feeding it some prompts in a moment, which is our sort of main body here. So we have our base model. We have our pirate version of that model. We have a low temperature version of that model and a high temperature version of that model. Now, I'm not going to go in on this video about temperatures and personas, that sort of stuff. The idea is that when you run this, you'll sort of get an idea about what's going on. So it's sort of understanding through experimentation. But if you want an understanding under the hood, then yeah, you definitely need to read the documentation. So we're going to create some model files here. You can do this by hand in a text editor if you want to, but this has been put in the code to do this. So we've got some text here that needs to go at the top of the text file. Okay, we need to create these model files, and each one is going to have the same pirate style, the same pirate persona, but different temperatures. So we've got 0.8, and then we've got 0.2, and then 1.2. Now, based on what models you're using, you need to probably check and find out what's the lowest temperature you can have and what's the highest, and what's like the recommended one as well. So what we're doing here very simply is two things. We're giving our model specifically a persona, and we're giving it a temperature. Now, the reason why you would do it this way is if going forward, when that particular model is called, so supposing instead of calling Gemma we call my pirate, that model now has the persona of a pirate. My pirate low temp has a persona of a pirate, which is more stable depending on how you look at temperature. So when you get a higher temperature on a model, and I've explained this in other videos on Ollama and on language models, but the higher the temperature, the more variability, the more chaos, I suppose, in the answer, the more likely it is to hallucinate, but the more likely it is in a creative environment to produce more creative answers. So think of temperature almost like a creativity value. So higher temperature tends to be more creative, lower temperature less creative. Okay, but that's not always hard and fast, and there's other parameters that I've spoken about in other episodes in other series, which I'll include links to in the description, where I sort of explain a little bit more about other parameters that can be used interactively with temperature. Okay, so it's then just going to print us a reminder, because there is a step we need to do, and you could probably code this in. Actually, you could probably do some OS calls which would do this for you, but we basically got to issue a command in a command prompt. I've got a command prompt ready to go, and I think it's, let me get the right one. Yeah, it's this one. You basically got to create it in, we're creating this in whatever directory our code is running. Okay, because on the way this system's set up and the way Ollama is installed, you can run Ollama from any directory once it's properly installed with the right path and everything. Okay, so here's the prompts we're going to feed it, which is, within here we've got a series of prompts that we're going to run through consecutively to each model of the three models, and prompt it and then get a response. And so we've got, tell me about your ship. What's your favorite treasure? How do you navigate the seas? What do you think of other AI assistants? Translate hello into pirate speak. And then finally, write a Python function to calculate the factorial of a number. Now, what's happened is, of course, we're not going to compare. We could, if we wanted to, I suppose, also run this model against the base model, just to see what the base model is like without the persona, but I'll leave you for you to do. Also, remember, you can on the fly create prompts where you put the persona in the prompt, so it only works for as long as that session is running. But with this persona and the temperature doesn't go away as long as we remember to call the model by its appropriate name. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll run this because it's going to give us prompts at the appropriate moment. So here we go. It's actually created the required file in the proper place. There we go. So here you can see there's our model files, but we have to use those to then produce the appropriate version, I suppose, of the LLM. So once we've done that, we're going to press enter. So we need in here to copy this command. Okay, so that command goes in to here, and I could probably have done this in code, but I just wanted to show you what to expect. So you can see it's pretty straightforward because all it's doing is duplicating to some degree, and there's a bit more complicated stuff going under the bonnet in terms of how it's doing that and how much room it's taking. But as you can see, we can create those 3 different versions of our underlying LLM. And as I've said, you can use different models here if you've got them locally. So that's all done. And if we run an Ollama ls, so a list, you can see what's actually happened here. So it's produced versions of the underlying one. Now notice all of the ID codes are different because it's a variant there, and it's 815 megabytes, and you might be able to spot, I mean, we know what model it came from, but if you look here you can see I was using the small the 1 billion parameter model or version of Gemma. Is that Gemma 2? Yeah, Gemma 2. Right, so we're just going to enter when they've been created. So it's all done. So now we shouldn't get any errors. If we did that without doing this, we'd get errors saying, oh, I can't find my pirate, I can't find my pirate low temp, I can't find my pirate high temp. So it's now going to iterate through the prompts here, and each time try a different version of that model. So you can see here we're interacting with my pirate. The temperature there is 0.8. I can't remember on this model where the center is. I can't remember whether the recommended one is 1 or not, but anyway, it's on 0.8 on this. And again, you can play around, put in different values here if you want to, whatever it writes here, and maybe try and see what happens if you do a temperature that's not allowed, or it doesn't make any sense. Maybe it just caps off. So interacting with my pirate, and you can see here, here's the prompt each time. So tell me about your ship, what's your favorite treasure, how do you navigate the seas, what do you think of other AI assistants? And you can see very much it is responding in a piratey manner when we do this. Now you'll notice that this bit is in the model file. It's not as part of the prompt. The prompt just says, tell me about your ship. So the piratiness, if you like, is captured here. So in the model, not in the prompt. I know I've said that about 4 or 5 times now, but yeah, it's really important. Okay. Where are we? Oh, there's our piratey Python. So I haven't bothered running these, but I'm assuming it is genuine Python. That should be okay, but it has piratey comments and narration, or not, as the case may be. Some of it anyway. And we got the my pirate at low temperature, and again you compare and contrast these if you really want to. How do you navigate the sea? And so it allows you to sort of compare the different temperatures and how they might affect the response, whether it's more creative, whether it's factual, that sort of stuff, because that's what the temperature will affect. And in the actual the model file itself that you use to create these, let's see if we can do this without crashing something. We could put in other things on the parameters. So again, that's where reading where is it, this will be really helpful. And we move on. So we've now got down to the explanation ye scallywag of our Python factorial. Shiver my timbers, here's the code. Fit to plunder a number and reveal its factorial. As true as a doubloon. It's a tricky calculation, but worth the effort I. So yeah, base case like a treasure chest full of gold. So you can see with these, depending on the circumstances, it might be a bit more priority in places than others. And then we get the high temperature model. So we would expect this to be a bit more creative maybe. So yeah. But again, this is part of the point of this series is you experiment with this, you find out, try different models in here. You can put this in. If you want to, you can add in that code and utilize the previous week's codes where we've pulled models on the fly. But for some experiments, you might just want to state it there and then and not be doing that, or sort of have it ready. And then we have our priority function. Looks like the explanation is a little bit more priority in places, maybe, I don't know. Review the consistency of the pirate persona and the creativity of the responses across different temperatures. So sometimes I'll put these reminders in the bottom of the code, just to sort of, so we don't lose track of what the experiment is, about. Because it's a serious experiment. Anyway, thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.